Hey moonshiners, pirates, and scallywags. Today we're going to make my secret recipe for moonshine pickles. Now before we get into that, if I'm going to share something so top secret with you, you got to do something for me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and hit that notify bell so you're the first to know when we upload new content to this channel. Now, we're going to get right to it, but before we do that, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Did you hit that subscribe button while we were away? Well, before we dive into getting into how to make this and show you how simple it is to make my secret recipe for my moonshine pickles, I got to tell you the inside scoop on how it came to be. There was this lovely little bootlegger named Bookleg Minnie. Now, she needed to move her moonshine, but she was afraid that she was going to get caught by the revenuers. And if they were disguised as pickles, then I would get away scot-free with this and get my moonshine to my customers, and they'd have a tasty treat on top of it. Well, years later, it was so popular, Bootleg Minnie went legit. So let's get into how to make this delicious treat. The ingredients you're going to need for your moonshine pickles are actually quite simple. You're going to need 2 to 3 large cucumbers, and we slice them as opposed to doing spears. We use a little wavy slicer. You have going to need 2 cloves of garlic, thinly sliced, just about a pencil lead thickness of those slices, so it gets a lot of surface area on there. You can use crushed. My daughter says the slice works better, so we'll go with slice. About 1/4 of an onion, roughly chopped, some dill, and then you're also going to need 3 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and some crushed red pepper, and of course the magic juice. If you don't have a local moonshiner, I'm sure you can find Everclear 151 at most liquor stores or a moonshine equivalent of your choice.
Hey mateys, it's time to learn to talk like a pirate.
Ahoy mateys, on today's segment of Talk Like a Pirate, we're going to talk about getting keel hauled. Actually, being keel hauled is one of the worst punishments that a pirate could have. You know, in the old golden age of pirates, which was actually the 1790s, a lot of pirates were deserters from the British Navy because the British Navy took flogging quite seriously. But we don't have any record of flogging on a pirate ship, but we do have records of keel hauling. Now, if you were found guilty of treason or some horrendous crime, they would actually strip you of your clothes, put you on a rope, and then drag you underneath the ship once or twice. Now, that might not sound like too bad like you're going for a swim. However, with all those barnacles and other sea nasties that have grown on the bottom of the ship, you get cut up pretty badly as you're being keel hauled under the keel of the ship. And if that isn't bad enough, the infection that would ensue would probably do you in afterwards. So it's always good to be a pirate, and it's good to be a good pirate. That's it for today's Talk Like a Pirate. Let's get back to the show. Hey, did you enjoy that segment on how to talk like a pirate today? Put those in the comments down below if you enjoy these or if you want to see more of them. So let's just get right to it. We're going to start off with 2 cups of white vinegar. Any brand will do, Publix brand, the Whitehall that we're using today, and we're going to put that in the pot. Next is we're going to need 2 teaspoons of sugar. It's a lot like, it's very similar to making simple syrup, but we're adding in our pickling spices now. Next, we're going to add in 3 teaspoons of white salt. You can use kosher salt if you like. And we're going to go ahead and heat that up and get that to a good boil. Now, when you're doing this, there's 2 things you need to remember. Water boils at 212 degrees. However, our moonshine, or any alcohol for that matter, will burn off at around 173 degrees. So after we get this all mixed up and make sure that it goes transparent and is completely dissolved in it, we need to wait just a little bit to get it to cool down for two reasons. One, we don't want to burn off the magic stuff, and secondly is for safe handling. So allow about 30 to 45 minutes for that to cool down to room temperature. Hey, Bootleg Minnie, it's time for that pirate joke of the day. How are you doing today?
Oh, I've had a hard day of pillaging and plundering.
Well, maybe I can lighten those spirits just a little bit.
Let's hope.
Well, let's hope. Why does a pirate carry his sword?
I don't know, Bourbonbill. Why?
Because it doesn't carry itself!
I should kill all you for that one.
Back to the show. All right, now as that comes up to a boil, you'll see that that'll start to dissolve pretty quickly and go clear. It's actually very similar to making simple syrup at home. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you're boiling vinegar, you want to make sure you don't have a reactive pot that you're putting this in, like, God forbid, cast iron or aluminum. You want a non-stick or a good coated pot so you don't get that metallic taste when this is coming out. And again, once it comes up to a boil, there's going to be a period of time to let this cool down for safe handling. And now that this has had a chance to cool down, I'm going to pour this into a large mixing bowl. You've seen this bowl many times on other shows, like our How to Make the World's Best Moonshine Apple Pie. Check that out when you get a chance. But now that it's cooled down, I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the mixing bowl because this little spout on the front makes it easier to pour into the jars in just a moment. Now, I've taken the liberty of going ahead and filling one of these jars, but I'm going to show you how simple it is. We're going to start just by loosely throwing in some of these cucumbers right in the jar. You don't want it packed too tight because you want the moonshine and the brine to go ahead and circulate through this. And if I'm in a hurry, this will go overnight, but it really works better if you leave it in the fridge for about a week. Don't worry, the moonshine will preserve it, I promise you. Now, once you get it about half full, we need to go ahead and take our dill and throw that in the jar so it gets down in the jar nice and full. And you don't want all the ingredients right at the top. You want to kind of mix it up as you go. So we're going to take some of our cloves of garlic slices, you know, the ones that we chopped up, and throw that in about halfway. And some onion, throw that in there. Now, Bootleg Minnie says there are certain things that I say frequently, as in like a lot, okay? I'm aware of it. I think if you've been watching the show for a while, you're probably aware of it too. Well, let's make a game out of it. You know what kind of game probably involves moonshine, okay? So there we go. Just putting that out there for you. So just throw in some more of these, get that filled up to the top. Couple more garlic slices for on top, and you'll probably have a few slices left over, and that's okay. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and start putting in our crushed red pepper right over the top. Now, when we pour the liquid over this, it'll go ahead and just kind of circulate it down throughout the jar, but I put it in at the last just so it all doesn't end up at the bottom. All right, the next thing we need to add in is our moonshine. As you can see, Bill's been having a little fun with this, as in most of my projects. So we're going to add that into our brine. Put that off to the side. Wait for the next run. And since we have this spout, we'll go ahead and fill up those jars pretty much to the top. Just make sure we have even amounts across. And pour that in. Now, here's the beauty of this. This makes 2 jars, but you can scale this up or down to however many jars that you need. Now, there's 2 kinds of lids that you're probably familiar with. There's the 2-piece lid that you've seen Grandma use for decades. This works great. I find that when you put that on, sometimes you got to kind of pry it off. What I've discovered is these single-piece lids that have the white safety food liner right inside. You build in this 1 piece. I got to tell you, this makes a fantastic gift. So before you go out and buy one or the other, just think about the presentation. You know, these you can Amazon these all day long, or you can go down to the grocery store and get the other. Makes no difference to me. It's just really personal preference for you. So we just take that, screw that on nice and tight, and we give it a good shake, just to kind of make sure that any couple of pickles or future pickles that were maybe laying together will come apart, and we'll give it a good soaking. That's the 1. Here's the 2. Shake it like you're a drunken pirate on the beach, like a drunken pirate dancing on the beach. And then these are ready for the refrigerator. Now, that is all there's to it. Now, I got a couple of requests for you. Since I shared you my secret moonshine pickle recipe today, don't forget to take care of me and hit that subscribe, like, and hit that share button also. And if you don't mind, I've gotten viewers from as far away as Tokyo and from Finland. Go ahead and put where you're watching this from down in the comments, or if you'd like to see other recipes on this show, because quite frankly, this is just as much your show as it is mine. Well, that's it for me today. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar. I want to hope you go and enjoy these pickles. Try them out. And if you like a little bit more sweet or a little less sweet, feel free to modify that recipe to your taste. So that's it for today. Check out our other videos on this channel, and we'll see you real soon. And cheers!